So boom, I just watched the first episode of this new anime called My Deer Friend Nokotan. And it's one of those first episode animes that will have you at the end saying, what the f did I just watch? And to be honest, this is the closest you'll get to seeing through the lens of a nigga that's off shrooms. P.S. I never done them shits, so that's what I would assume. But I'm here to give you a rundown, review, nutshell, whatever you want to call it. So if you haven't seen this shit, major spoiler alert ahead. And with that being said, okay, let's go. We start off with meeting Koshi Torako, a second-year high school student, and she's everything that you can think of in a quote-unquote popular high kid. For example, she's the bad bitch, the Albert Einstein bitch, and crack you out your Nikes bitch. As you can see, this poor young lady down here was a victim. But there's always a second face to a pretty face. Bar. In the past of Torako Koshi, she has to cover up that she was a former hood rat delinquent. And do you want to know out of all people who scoped this girl to be like this? The one and only Mikey Manjura. Which is valid because they say in the show that she reads top shonen mangas. And if you know me, I fuck with Tokyo Revengers. And how can you not get influenced by a person that be roundhouse kicking niggas in they shit constantly? But let me get back on track because I'll really take this whole video and turn it into a different anime. As Koshi's taking a good old walk to school, she peeps something horrific in her peripheral. And if you guys have the same eyes that I do, and you gotta tell yourself to take a second look at the bullshit that you're about to witness, don't even do it. Just keep walking. But you know, Koshi wants to be the first one dead in a horror flick, so she legit forces herself to turn and look to find a John with horn stuck in the power line. And in a very strange, weird setting like this, Shawty starts spazzing out badly like you would have thought she saw a girl with horn stuck in a power line. I know, if y'all just peep what I said, that was some high shit that just came out my mouth. But it fits the setting, so let me rock. So as Koshi's spazzing like little baby, snot starts to trickle down John's nose, and the wind starts to pick up and takes the snot on a flight to land directly on Koshi's forehead. And you would think that she's really about to go batshit crazy now. Because let's be real, in hindsight, she just got that Philadelphia treatment. But no, she looks up and just says, oh, she's alive? For the camera to cut and show that this girl has a very ominous look to herself. And she has wild animals circling around her as if she's prey or some shit. With all this random craziness going on, finally Koshi takes the time to pick up her shit and just dip from this weird ass situation. You really gonna leave me, ho? You gonna look and see I'm in this predicament and still leave? No. Of course not. Actually, I never even seen you up there. And I really gotta take a shit. So I really had to go now. So you gonna act like you just didn't look me in my fucking eyes while we were literally slimed out?
Keep playing with me because when I get down, I'ma shove my 5 wide so far up your ass that you actually gonna have to shit.
Just like that, Deer Girl was finally down while Koshi was on her floor stressing. As well, John Deere turning to give her thanks while calling her Miss Delinquent. And it was hee hee ha ha until Koshi realized what just came out the Deer Girl's mouth. Because you gotta remember, everyone sees Koshi as the perfect girl and doesn't know about her past hood rat life. So she slowly backs off and realized that she really shouldn't be in the mix with this random ass girl. And does the race like KK from this girl, mystical beast. I don't even know what you wanna call her. Am I high? Okay, students, I'm gonna need y'all to sit y'all asses down. Today, I got a new transfer student to introduce to you. Transfer student? What could be the chances? I know my luck ain't that bad. Please, come.
Bruh. Huh?
And yes, Koshi luck is that bad. But for this next part, I don't know if this was a JJK Toji reference because she couldn't fit in the door with her antlers. So her solution was to force her way in and start a fucking classroom calamity. Now, this is when the JJK reference that I speak of comes in. As we're getting Demon Slayer debris type cinematics, the students in this classroom are getting faded by all the rubble created from this girl. Nah, getting put on World Star by a debris is low-key kind of crazy. And if you still don't know the reference that I'm talking about, it's when Toji stomped on the ground and started beaming all the pebbles at all the rabbits. Look, even the teacher bitch got a shot of glass stuck in her head. But the glass didn't stop her from getting the new girl to introduce herself to the class, which she tells the class that her name is Noko Shikanoko, but you can call her Nokotan. And the class gives her a strong, warm welcoming. As well, too, I know that CT has already kicked in for some of these kids because some of them are still profusely bleeding while glazing the fuck out of Nokotan, which follows up with the teacher giving the open seat that is, of course, near Koshi. And you should already know that this is going to be a problem problem within itself, which is why Koshi's currently having a meltdown. So she decides that she's going to get ahead of the curve and be straight teeth and palms with Nokotan. And it was actually working for the most part. But then she started to do a little bit too much, which ultimately shot her in the foot. Because the last thing that she tells Nokotan is, yeah, you can call me anything. Not realizing the situation that she was just in prior to being in school. So Noko took it and ran with it and said, you got it, Miss Delinquent. And man, you would have thought a fight just broke out. The teacher was shocked as fuck and had glass still flying out of her head. The CTE kid's facial expression done finally changed. And bro, pause this shit right the fuck here. Where in the hell did these Kodali Yoko ass deers come from? Second, why isn't that the center of attention? But all eyes on these two, which Koshi was dumbfounded, and Nokotan doubled down and called her delinquent for the second time to have Koshi release all that spiritual pressure built up in her. But the craziest thing was Noko wasn't even done. She was just getting started. She randomly got so serious and said, I bet you're a virgin too. And that pretty much put the nail in the coffin for Koshi. I knew Koshi had to be. Why was he so excited to say that? Like, my boy, you're still not going to hit. After that shit show, Koshi walks into her next class to find a factory amount of dare crackers on her desk. And she comes to the conclusion that the only person behind this could be old Shikanoko for her to start salivating a whole goddamn tsunami out of her mouth. Side note, it's crazy how no one in this school is questioning the anomalies that this girl has going on. Anyways, Koshi asks her what's the meaning of all this, for her to let her know that it was a payment from saving her from the power lines. But Koshi wasn't feeling all those goddamn dare crackers. So to compromise her, Shikanoko cracks off one of her antlers to gift her, to also put a note on that those hoes was edible as fuck, and proceeds to go to town on her own antler. Yet Mikey Jr. wasn't going for it. Therefore, she went and cracked the other one to put in that 2-for-1 special, just for Koshi to let her know that she really doesn't want them shits. So Noko came to her senses and was like, if you don't want none of the stuff that I'm providing, then what you really might want is all of me. All Diddy. Somehow the both of them end up in the bathroom together, and Koshi was asking Noko if she can keep her past identity on the down low, to full court pressing her and being like, if you do say anything, I'll turn you into a Jack Lynx. You got that, bitch? Even the random ass 5D dares was like, oh shit. But when Noko's nonchalant self, without even trying, she's always one step ahead of the game, but also oblivious at the same time too. You mean your real identity is a virgin? Which has Koshi more stressed than me trying to get a video out once a month. And in a salty way, Koshi says that the only jokes that should be coming from her is her antlers, for Noko to become really sad and mellow, and agreed that her antlers probably does make her look like a freak to everyone, leading Koshi to starting to feel bad for what she just said to her. So she starts to apologize just for Nokotan to show that she is the next upcoming vessel for Kenjaku. Now, it's finally time to go home, and Koshi looks like she's been through hell and back for her to hear some random ass knocking from the shed across the way. Excuse me, I know I should be minding my own business and not coming over here, but I'm dumb and I'm gonna do it anyway. And she should have just went home, because now she's running around like a chicken with its head cut off. But Noko is slowly rising from the dead to calling out Koshi's name, which catches her by surprise. And Koshi asks, like, can you explain what the hell happened? And she's like, oh, I just had a little accident and scraped my knee. Little accident, she says, for an eruption of blood to squirt out her head. And with the face that Koshi's making, you cannot tell me that she doesn't look like David after Main became the biggest anime crash out. Even the dares are over there geeking the fuck out. And mind you, Noko was just going through a category 5 head injury, for the next scene to be her getting this little ass band-aid put on her knee. So we gonna act like she didn't need intensive care from a neurosurgeon and all she needed was a band-aid? Okay, got it. Anywho's, Shikanoko gets back up to start cleaning up the shed again, for her to almost bust her ass the second time. But Koshi's there for the save and she's like, I guess I'll fucking help you. And they go on a little ass cleaning montage and shit. While time passes, their teacher walks in and she's impressed on how fast they clean up the shed, for her to thank Koshi for being a second hand and also joining the Dare Club as well. For her to hit the, wait, hold the fuck up. And this is why I say, stop getting your hands into everything. She should have just took her Goldilocks ass home. That's tough. She got set up by Noko and the teacher and was forced to sign the 360 deal contract to be the Dare Club president. And with that, terms were accepted and finalized for the Dare Club to be an official go. All Koshi could do was just tense up and just say, okay, and take a L like this straight to the chin. They make their way outside and look how happy Nokotan is. At this point, where is the infamous Truck-kun? Noko pulls out a brush to ask if they should begin the brushing. But Koshi obviously wasn't feeling it. But she signed that 3-year, 250,000 deal. So she low-key gotta comply to Noko's orders. Man, fuck that. The student body just gonna have to know that I'm on my Tokyo Avengers type shit. But Koshi being the good person that she is, she starts to get the brushing on Noko. And from the very far distance, we see this chick just glaring down on the both of them. And by the way that she's grabbing the pole, shorty might be off a Yerk 30 or something. Well, and on that note, bye.